Yeah.
Where did he hear that? Where did he hear that?
That is definitely, I mean, that existed before Trump, but is that a bad thing for a president to run on putting America first?
It's suspect for me when it's a billionaire businessman.
Hmm.
That's my opinion.
So why do you think so many people believe that Trump is indeed operating on an America first platform? Are you saying you don't believe Trump is putting America first?
No.
And what are you basing that on?
Well, he had how many years in jail did he have waiting for him?
Forever.
How many trials did he have waiting for him? And he was able to successfully prove to people that listen to him and trust him that all those trials are a sham. Yeah. If they can come after me, quote unquote, they can come after you, right?
Yeah.
What lame, what a lame thing to say, but people love it.
Yeah.
People eat it up. But when you listen to it for 9 years, it just festers.
So you make it sound almost as if Trump's whole candidacy, his whole spiel in politics is just one big grift.
Yes.
Wow.
I'm sorry, man. I voted Republican all the way up to George Bush Jr. And when Trump came, and then further, I voted for McCain, I voted for Romney. And Trump came down the stairs, I thought there's no way he's going to get through the primaries.
Damn.
And he did. And I haven't voted Republican since.
Now, you've seen 4 solid years of Trump, 2016 to 2020. As a Republican, as a former Republican, were they that bad?
Just, you know what? It's mired. His whole candidacy just becomes mired by his mouth. He just says what he wants to say, and it just mires everything and sweeps everything off to the side. He could say, well, I had the greatest economy ever. And, okay, yes, the economy followed along with after Obama's economy, but then look what happened with COVID. And when COVID came along, I said, okay, Don, you got to keep your mouth shut now and just let the professionals do the talking. He couldn't do that. He put Americans at risk. I firmly believe he put a lot of Americans in the ground because of what he. Because
so you're blaming Trump. You're blaming Trump for COVID deaths.
No, well, some, yes, absolutely. When you're running around saying, when the Surgeon General says you should wear a mask, and he pops out and says, no, you don't have to.
Yeah.
You're a free man. You're free, and that's not putting America first. That's just putting your party or whatever you're, putting your.
Why do you think he would go against the medical advice of his own administration?
Because he can't keep his mouth shut. He cannot shut up. It has to be about him all the time. But why would he go against his medical folks? Beats me. That was the time to nut up and put the big boy pants on and say, you know what? You don't have to get a shot. You don't have to wear a mask, but I'm going to wear a mask and I'm going to get my shot. And so should you. That's all he had to say. That's all he had to do. And all my friends who didn't get shots because they were quote unquote free, didn't wear masks because they thought it was tyranny. It's an inconvenience. It really is. And this guy proved to everybody that it's, their freedom was more important than other people's lives and their own. I lost too many friends who just fell in fell into that, and they're not here now.
And you think Trump's propaganda is that strong? Because he won again by a fair margin over the Democratic Party. Is it possible that maybe the Democrats just had a poor campaign or were leading the country in the wrong way? You sure you really feel that confident that Trump is not pro-America, which is what it sounds like you're saying?
He can wrap his hands around the flag all he wants and hug the flag all he wants. This just, if it's coming out of the mouth of a billionaire businessman, it's just suspect to me.
But you voted, now he wasn't a billionaire, but I'm assuming you voted for Mitt Romney, right?
Yes.
What did you like about Mitt Romney or John McCain that you feel does not exist in Trump?
Decency. Just common decency. And at the time, it wasn't even a standard we thought of. It was an expectation. Common decency was an expectation, and we got that through many presidents until this guy.
So you don't even see Trump as a decent human being?
No.
What about his policies? Because some folks say, okay, yeah, he's a little bit brash. You know, he talks a bit too much, but his policies are good.
I couldn't talk much about his policies. I really couldn't. He could have the greatest policies in the world, but I just feel like he's using my religion as a prop. He's using Now
you saying you think that Trump is using Christianity as a prop?
Yes.
As a prop to do what? Get elected?
Get Christian votes.
Well, it's working. But
yeah.
But in regards to you saying, if you believe he's using Christianity as a prop, as a Christian yourself, how do you feel about the fact that he did get, Roe v. Wade rolled back? He's getting Christianity in schools now. I mean, he is doing a lot for your religion.
I sent my kids to a private Christian school, and I paid every penny. I don't believe that anyone's Bible or anyone's the Quran, the Bible, any of that belongs in a public school. I believe to give people the means to pray when they want, do what they want, but don't force my religion in public schools, because not all those people, all the taxpayers are Christians. They're just true. Not.
That is true.
If they said tomorrow we're going to start teaching the Quran, I mean,
it would probably it would go south real quick. The odd thing is, I haven't checked this out yet, but on my show last night, folks are telling me that when Oklahoma passed that law that does require public school kids to read passages from the Bible, they purchased Trump Bibles, so that's what they will be using to dictate that out of.
As far as I'm concerned, it's just a blasphemous Bible. You don't put worldly things like the Constitution, Pledge of Allegiance, Lee Greenwood lyrics into a Christian Bible.
Wow.
It's their worldly documents in the Word of God.
Well, before I'm moving on, and I got to give a shout out to Trump, which, I mean, you got to say it is an amazing feat for you to be selling Bibles while admitting publicly you're not a Christian. You got to give him credit for that, right?
I'm not for using it as a prop. No.
I mean, he is literally selling Bibles while admitting he's not a Christian. Who else could pull that off?
Oh, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Who could pull that? He pulled off amazing things. When he came down the stairs, and I said, "I'll never vote for that guy." And then all my friends were like, "I think he's onto something," but I never saw it.
All right. Before I'm moving on from you, this is the critical hour. I'm asking folks. This is the time to give it to me full face. In regards to, maybe you've heard me say things or illustrate things that you're like, this guy don't know what the hell he's talking about, or maybe you felt I was not operating based on facts, or just simply full of it. And the goal here is to present a more entertaining, authentic, genuine program. I'm open to criticism. What you got?
Sir, I got nothing. The way you handled the last person who was on the show, I was losing my mind. And how you maintained yourself and just said, that's interesting, and kept it positive. And even though we're going to disagree on some things, you're somebody I'd like to spend time in a room with, and just debate about things.
Thank you.
You're respectful, and I appreciate that. And you're respectful of all the viewers, and appreciate what you do. I got no criticism. Sorry.
Miles to go. I salute you, but doors are always open to you. Thank you for your time. Come on back anytime.
Peace out, my friend.
You too. All right, moving on with the program. Now, see in the comments, someone did give me a little bit of a pushback in the comments. I wanted to find it. I lost it. This caller is hateful and ignorant. His TDS is showing. That's one reference about that. But that's not what I wanted to. Derek says you are full of it most of the time. Derek, by the way, even for you folks on YouTube, you got a little bit of room there. Go ahead and type in what you're saying. I don't block, ban, or censor anyone. The program is MAGA friendly, been that way since day one. It always will be that way. MAGA are my preferred guests. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome as well. If you do enjoy this type of wide open dialogue from all sides of the aisle, I would implore you to follow the program on TikTok, a subscription on YouTube horizontal or YouTube vertical, if you will. Appreciate it. Let me go back to the box real quick. We're talking about how could Trump win again with so many issues, such as multiple felony counts, multiple indictments. Folks, even on the MAGA side of the hour, suggesting that he has bad character. I like his policies, but he has all kinds of character flaws, and I don't like the way he talks to people. This is what even his supporters say. Obviously, he's a womanizer with a host of baby mamas and failed marriages and relationships. He is thin-skinned, even though he would expect others, particularly liberals, to be thick-skinned. Don't pay attention to what Trump says. Pay attention to what he does. Yet he himself is thin-skinned. He's also non-Christian, as we talked about. How the hell does a president of the United States get enough votes while admitting they don't believe in God? They're not even Christian. How does that work? And last but not least, we talked about how old John McCain, Bernie Sanders, and even Joe Biden are. And yet Trump got elected, and he's older than all of them. When he becomes the 47th president, he will be the oldest president to ever take the reins. And he got through, even though we use that as criticism for McCain, Biden, Bernie Sanders, and many other candidates. How did Trump get in with all of those issues? Let me go back to the box. Everyone should learn to speak Chinese, says Kaiser Sosa. Yikes. Found guilty by his peers. That is true. Going back to the box, Stick the Ruler, one of my subscribers. We always get a subscriber's first digs. Stick, welcome to the program.
Hey, how you doing, Tim?
I'm doing good. How did he pull it off again?
I mean, he pulled it off, but at the same time, you said it already. She kind of was a horrible candidate in the sense of timing.
Yeah.
Timing. Not her resume. Her resume was impeccable. We both know this.
Yeah.
Even though they want to deny it, is that her resume was top notch. Couldn't get no better. She served in 3 different branches of the government. If I'm the judicial, the executive, and she was in the legislation.
Yep.
She was a senator. So you can't do that. But what we know, the reason she was a horrible candidate was the timing, the color of her skin, and the country that she was in.
I think you're missing one. I mean, I do agree her race didn't help her. I don't know if racial.
Yeah, and she was a woman.
There you go. I think by far, I think her being, a person of color was not as harmful to her as much as her being a woman. Because there were people of color that wouldn't vote for her because she was a woman too.
Well, Tim, you just had a guest up here. I'm sorry, or a caller up here saying that the Democrats use the race more than anybody.
Yeah.
As we all know, we weren't the one bringing up whether she was black or not. They were.
Yeah.
Trump was. The mouthpiece of the Republican Party was saying this.
Yeah.
So, come on, stop. Don't do that. Now, miles to go. If you can see what I see, I told him he was being honest. At least that's all we ask. Be critical of him. Don't just say he hasn't did anything wrong. Twist yourself in a pretzel. Country, you put your man. It was so many pretzels I put up there, and it was salty too. He was mad about something. I don't know what he was mad about.
Well, we get some folks on the show that come through quite passionate, and I don't mind that, which is why I'm taking criticism today, because I want to find out where the hell I get things wrong sometimes. So I'm opening myself up to that. But you do think? Go ahead.
Well, hold on. We ain't gonna skip past that then, since we're being critical. And I'm joking, but I'm being serious at the same time.
I can take it. I gotta think. My skin is thick as an alligator.
That damn hat you got right there I don't give a goddamn. That's the most aggravating shit that I've ever seen on TikTok. I'm done with that damn hat.
So you're done. You're done with what likely will be that is a presidential artifact. 100 years from now, that MAGA hat will still be a part of history.
Oh yeah, it's already made shows. Yeah, it's already been on shows where guys wear MAGA hats just to like not show up to an appointment or show up to the appointment with the MAGA hat on, and then that person that comes looks and sees you with the MAGA hat on and leaves.
Yeah, I remember as a young man in my 20s, you're playing basketball. Somebody showed up to the court with a Jordan jersey on. It made a statement that you dare wear that to the court. This actually makes a statement. If you're walking down the street with a MAGA hat on, let me say this. Let me ask you this, Stick. You're walking down. I don't know where the hell this is going to go, but I'm going to give you the floor. You're walking down the street, and 5 guys are walking towards you. They're all wearing a MAGA hat. What does that say to you?
First thing, I'm finna go across the street.
You're going to walk on the other side of the street.
Yeah, this is weird. You just, all y'all wearing MAGA hats? And I'm by myself? This black man by myself? I ain't got my, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got my pew-pew on me? Oh, man, y'all can have that, because I ain't got time right now. I just really don't have time right now.
So if you see several guys wearing MAGA hats, you instantly think that your life may be in danger?
Man, I don't have time. I don't know if these guys are cool. I don't know if they're all right. I've already had people say, don't go out. You don't want me to go MAGA on you. I don't even know what that means.
Damn.
So
somebody told you, somebody said you don't want me to go MAGA on you?
Yeah, man. Like, it's one of those things, man. And it's real. I mean, as much as they try to deny it, it was not a peaceful day, January 6th. That was true MAGA, dark MAGA, blagga, everybody.
Well, they're about to get, I'm under the impression they're going to get pardoned soon.
Well, regardless of whether they get pardoned or not, they were there. Yeah. That's my point. Regardless of the fact. I mean, you had the guy come up with, like we said yesterday, or he was part of them Proud Men, you know, or whatever. So the whole thing again, you're willing to say that, knowing what happened, you've seen it with your own eyes, you're trying to avert the attention to it was peaceful or whatever Trump said. He said go peacefully. Man, bro, that's not what happened.
No, it's not. No, it's not. But Trump would say that it was the FBI or Ray Epps that instigated that. It wasn't him.
So why are you giving them pardons?
I don't have an answer for that. I don't have it. I mean, because he also, some folks are saying it's Antifa, and once again, why would you give Antifa a pardon? It don't make sense.
Yeah.
Here's my spiel on it. Here's my spiel on it. At the end of the day, they were acting on behalf of President Trump, following his cop to steal statement. They were trying to get him back in office, and yeah, they may have committed some criminal acts. And I believe that Trump sees them as somebody who was loyal and down to my cause, and I'm going to get them out. It doesn't matter why they did it, who instigated it. I mean, Trump looks at them like they're loyal to him, and that is enough to give him justification to pardon them. All of this Antifa and Ray Epps shit. Folks on the right are saying that. I've never heard Trump refer to them as Antifa or suggest that Ray Epps or the FBI instigated them. Trump sees them as folks who were down for the cause, and it's his duty to look out for his people. Everybody else is making up things on his behalf.
And that's my point. So, again, Trump is the problem or the sickness, but his supporters are the real problem. And that's why when you said 5 guys wearing MAGA hats, it don't matter the color. It could be 5 different races of MAGA. Chinese, Indian /white /black / Jamaican. I don't care what you want to call them. If they're together and they're walking down the road with that hat on proudly, yeah, I'm going to slide to the side. I ain't got time.
Wow.
I just really don't have time. That's trouble. I don't care how you want to slice it. I don't care if y'all can call me, what do they call it? Fearmonger? Whatever you want to call it. But you tell me, if you see 5 guys walking down the street with MAGA hats on in unison, then you just gonna meet them head on.
What is, other than January 6th, what has led you to have that opinion? Because you wouldn't have that opinion if 5 guys in a Kamala Harris Tim Walz hat, would you?
They really don't exist.
Yeah. Which is a problem for Kamala Harris, is that her supporters really don't.
So MAGAs is like the new Bloods, man. That's all I'm trying to say.
Damn.
I don't want to be wearing a blue shirt, and then they got 3 red MAGA hats on, and then they just walk up on me. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna expect aggression off the rip.
Wow.
Because just as well as my brother by himself wearing a MAGA hat, and he's a trucker. He went somewhere, maybe it was Georgia or somewhere, and he went to a black neighborhood with in a restaurant, and they called him a sellout, just point blank. So he was a black man with a MAGA hat on, and he went in the hood, and they didn't like him. No, and there was plenty of them. So it's the adverse effect.
Yeah,
it's more you than it is of me. So I already know what time it is. Let me just get out the way. I ain't got time to go back and forth. I ain't scared, but at the same time, like, I don't have to walk straight into just to show I ain't scared. I'm straight. I'm gonna let you have that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you have that.
I gotta move it on, but before I do, I'm gonna open it up to you as well. Now I know you lean left. You certainly aren't MAGA, but I'm asking. I'm willing to take the beating today. What might I be getting wrong on this program? I know you mentioned you didn't like the red hat, so I think that was your primary criticism. Am I correct?
One of them, and then the second one I would say, throughout this whole thing, the only thing that really grinds my gears, as Peter Griffin would say, was, remember how when Kamala, we really didn't know anything about, the first day of the 100 and whatever days she had.
Yeah.
It was more or less, okay, we know this guy is a piece of shit, right? I'm just gonna have to say it that way.
Well, they didn't feel that way about the economy or the fact that the border was being secure. They didn't see him as a piece of shit from his policies.
And I get it. Because a lot of MAGA are saying that's the reason why she lost. She ran on he's so bad.
Yeah.
But the problem I'm having is he really was bad. Like just being honest, and it's kind of like you sometimes gave him a pass too, right along with, because she was bad in a sense at the time. She couldn't answer questions. She didn't have any. First it was, why is she doing any interviews?
Give me an example.
Even though Trump has broken laws, it went from, okay, we want to know why she ain't doing no interviews. We want to know, is she really black? Like, I feel like that lost the real deal issue of, yes, this dude is really bad. Yes, Biden is too old at this point. Yes, maybe it was too late. But we got to focus on the positive with her, because this dude is really that bad. And not these play little, look over here. Yeah, look, she's not black. I mean, that's how that had a tremendous effect. I got to move it on, no stick. But you heard one of my guests already today say that she was Indian or something like that. I mean, that actually had some effect. I've had black people come on here and say one of the reasons they didn't vote for her is because she was lying and said she was African American. So that did have an effect. Stick? Okay, well, last thing I'll say is, when it comes to white teen folks, you can't tell us who's black.
Damn.
We tell you who's black.
Woo.
Right now, I'm taking somebody from them. Eminem is not black. I mean, Eminem is not white. He's black. So we tell you who's black. You don't tell us who's black.
All right, Stick. I don't want to sound like the Amazon commercial, but whoa! I got to move it on. Thank you. All right, moving on with the program. Bit to respond to a super chat. Thank you for your support. Poo, fuck you. Is that what that says? Poo, fuck you. Joe held on too long and no primary buried the Democrats. In other words, Joe Biden stayed in office for too long, and Kamala Harris got the gig without a primary, so she wasn't voted in. He says, I voted for Joe in 2020, hoping he'd transition and hand off to younger Democrats. Boy, was I wrong. I don't really know if I see anything that I can really push back on that. Joe definitely held on too long. I don't know if no primary buried the Democrats, but it didn't help. It didn't help. So I'm not disagreeing with you on that. And you said you voted for Joe Biden in 2020, hoping he would transition and hand it off to younger Democrats. And yeah, you're right. He did not do that. He didn't intend to hand it off at all. Nancy Pelosi had to take it from him. Tap the screen, get the likes up to about 40,000. I know I'm asking for a lot, but I haven't asked you folks to tap the screen or smash that like button on YouTube horizontal, YouTube vertical as well. Helps out the algorithm, brings in more MAGA. You know the program is MAGA friendly. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome as well. So I am going to ask you tap the screen, smash that like button on YouTube. This guy is definitely trolling. He's good. Says, wow. All right, I'm asking for the criticism. So he's saying I'm a troll, but he said I'm good at it. All right. I've never been referred to that. Been referred to as a troll. Take it from him. It's called a coup, says Cookie Monster. Well, MAGA doesn't believe Trump was involved in a coup. One person died on January 6th. She was an unarmed protester. Cardu, I will say this. I'm not trying to bring race into this shit before I go to the next caller. How many unarmed people of color have lost their lives and it was because you didn't comply? We thought you were reaching for something or, we didn't know, but you weren't compliant. So, it cost you your life. Ashley Babbitt was not compliant. She was acting in concert with people who were performing very dangerous activity. I showed that on the live stream last night. Whereas you had a cop, who was African-American, by the way, who had 3 interns cowering behind him. You're running scared and you find a cop. So you get behind the cop because at the end of the day, he has the power of the law behind him and he has a gun. So they're hiding behind the cop. They're in a room or down a hall, whatever the hell it is, where they have locked the doors and literally overturned furniture to barricade it up against the door. Imagine you're in a hotel room or something and somebody's trying to get to you, so you put the mattress and shit against the door or maybe the dresser against the door so they can't get in. And the person is trying to tear the door down and climb over the furniture. That's what was happening on January 6th. If you look at the video of where the shot came from that cost Ashley Babbitt her life, you can clearly see upside down chairs and shit. They had barricaded themselves in this area because they were afraid of the mob, and the mob is trying to break their way and climb over the furniture. What the hell was he supposed to do? So the whole idea that she's unarmed, if you're acting in concert with dozens of people, do you really need a firearm? I mean, the amount of overwhelming force is easily still going. You can kill somebody without a gun. I hope you know that. I hope you do. Let me go back to the box. Continuing on with one of my other subscribers here, Irene Strong. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. How did he pull it off? The 47th president, despite all of the attributes that many would say are negative. Irene, I believe, dropped. I will continue on. Apparently, my last guest dropped. We will try it again with Love to Cruise. So do I. It's been a few months since I've been on a nice cruise. Love to Cruise, if it brings him or her up. Love to Cruise. Good evening.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Trump, 47th president, despite all of these things that folks may consider as negative attributes, such as criminal charges, bad character, admitting he's not a Christian, how do he pull it off? How does he win with all of that negativity orbiting around him?
He yells the loudest.
That's all it takes?
With me, that's all it takes. If you say something enough, people are going to believe it, especially when they already halfway want to believe you. So when he kept on saying, I mean, the stupidest things, like he had people believing because of her lab. What the hell does her lab got to do with running the country?
So what are you saying? He duped the American people, or the American people just stupid?
Exactly. Yes.
So
I mean, there's been times even you covered a show where is this a cult?
I had to ask the people. Yeah, I've asked the people.
Yeah.
You know.
And in turn, their cult leader would say things and they would believe it. I mean, he's only 4 years younger than Biden. How in the hell are you gonna call somebody old?
Yeah, he's not even 4. He's like 3 years.
But okay. But since he screamed it louder than everybody else, people believed it.
Yeah.
And he kept on with his message better than
Kamala Harris.
VP did. Yes.
So
they fell for it.
So you believe even if he's screaming things that are not true, the American voting populace is so ignorant they'll still believe it and vote for it?
Exactly.
Wow.
Especially when they want to believe it.
Thank you.
See, if you want to believe it, then you're going to find right in anything that he says because you want to believe that.
Well,
and they did not want it. I mean, they're making up excuses. Well, there wasn't no primary for her to get in. What would have happened if something happened to Biden anyway? She's next in line. She would have been president. There is no primary for that.
Well, yeah, but that's if something happens to Biden. That's not if he serves out his entire term, which is what he's doing.
Something did happen to him. He had dementia.
Well, if he got dementia, why is he still in there?
I don't think he has it. I'm just saying what Mega was saying. Is he a little slow? Yes. And as all these young people find out when you get older, you do get a little slower.
Yeah. And real quick before we continue on, Matt Johnson on YouTube says, dude, you're dull, a fucking shot. I don't know what the hell does that even mean? Elaborate. I don't know. I'm okay with the criticism, but it has to make sense. I don't know what the hell you're trying to say. So I agree with you, Lotta Cruz, that if for some reason Biden could not make out his full term, we nominated Kamala Harris to fill in. But we didn't. But that doesn't work if he does serve out his full term, which is what he was going to do. He's saying, I'm stepping down and not going to run for re-election. But under that rule, Kamala doesn't automatically get the job.
Well, I think, excuse me, I think she was most likely to get it anyway.
You really think so?
That was her way. That was her way of putting more fuel on the fire. She wasn't nominated. She wasn't this. She wasn't that. Wait.
You said you think that she was likely to get it anyway. So you're saying if they had, let's say for instance, Biden announced, as he originally indicated, that he was not going to run for re-election, but let's say he did it from day one. So there was a 6-month primary. You really think she would have won the primary and been nominated as the Democratic nominee?
Yes, I do.
Wow. Over the likes of
now, don't get me wrong. That doesn't mean I would have voted for her, but I believe all the Democratic women would have, and she would have carried enough of that where she still would have been nominated.
You know, I used to agree with what you're saying, that the women's vote could be dictated or counted on to vote on certain issues, like, you know, for instance, Roe v. Wade. I've talked to so many pro-life women over the last few weeks. I don't believe women are ever going to get their abortion rights back. It's just too many pro-life women out there. And I'm talking about Democrat, left-leaning, independent women. And based on my personal analysis, out of the hundreds of women I've talked to, there's too many women that are okay with women losing that right. So I don't. When you say women would have elected Kamala Harris, they didn't.
But you're speaking on Republican and independent.
I'm talking about women as a gender entirely. If you factor in white, black, Hispanic,
as a general wouldn't have voted in the primary. It just would have been Democratic women voting.
Yeah.
So that eliminates a lot of votes that may have went against her, and the Democratic women would have voted her in.
Yeah, I would be curious to see what the white liberal women's vote looked like, how strong it was. Did more white liberal women vote for Kamala over Biden? Because I believe the answer is no. I believe Kamala Harris actually lost female votes compared to the last liberal, being Biden also. She did worse across the board, in my opinion, with the exception of black women?
I would like to see that too. I can't answer that directly, but what you say makes sense. And I would just like to see if that was the fact. Because I don't know how he pulled that. I mean, I was duped. I was watching the news. I see all the long lines. I'm like, oh, she's in. And them MFs was voting for Trump. You know, I thought they was voting for Harris.
Yeah.
They was voting for Trump, man. I was like, I woke up like, whoa, what happened?
Yeah.
So, like I said, he screamed the loudest. When you can make an issue, the fact that her laugh, then you're going to call her stupid and people calling her stupid. You can't call that woman stupid. She's been in He's saying she didn't have no experience. She's been in politics longer than he has.
He literally said she was born mentally ill. He really criticized the hell out of her. I think
And
when Go ahead.
What difference does her race make? If she says she's Indian, Chinese, if she's a damn donkey, whatever that makes, what difference does that make as far as your vote and whether she can run the country? All this other stuff he threw out didn't have nothing to do with running the country. And all he did was make promises, but he never explained how he's going to do it. Well, now we know how. He's going to cut programs and give all the money to the rich. And meanwhile, people, vets, and so people on Social Security, whatever, food stamps, all of them going to lose out.
I hope you're wrong. I got to move it on. No love to Cruz. Thank you for coming through.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Moving on. And he did say that his criticism was that I gave Trump a pass on a few things. We could have went into detail about it because he's not the only one that said it. I'm open for criticism today, and that is one of the topics we're talking about. Is that a lot of you folks may feel that I don't get it right all the time, and I'm willing to admit that. I'm willing to take a little bit of pushback, but I want to hear from you folks what the hell I'm specifically not getting right so that we can deliver more entertaining, a more genuine feel to the program. We want to be fact-based, but we also want to maintain, the fact that you guys can get your opinions across without any concern of being blocked, banned, or censored. I don't mind critical thinkers and folks who have an adverse opinion to mine. You know how that works. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. We go left of Bernie Sanders to having dinner with Q. We say it on every program. And real quick, tap the screen, get the likes up. Let's see if we can get to 30,000. We can make that happen on TikTok. If you favor this open dialogue, like I always say, follow the program on TikTok and subscription on YouTube, if you will. Looking in the comments, can't wait for Republicans to remove the Affordable Care Act and cut entitlements, says Carpe Diem. I've said this on several programs, and I know you're not the only right-leaning voter that actually feels the same way. You can't wait for the Republicans to remove the Affordable Care Act and cut out entitlements. I've used this as a pushback every time I've heard somebody on the right suggest we need to stop sending money overseas to places like the Ukraine and Israel and focus on taking care of Americans. After all, we're supposed to be Americans first. Every damn thing you named, for the most part, the primary recipient is an American. So we're going to stop sending money to the Ukraine, stop sending money overseas, focus on America first, and get rid of the ACA, which is the Affordable Care Act, that makes healthcare affordable, overwhelming majority of the recipients being American. That's why I've stated the idea that we're going to stop sending money overseas and you're going to help out Americans. That's bullshit. There is no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Once we stop sending money overseas, there is going to be no change in your life whatsoever. Comments like that make that, in my opinion, verifiable. There are Americans that do not want Americans to have access to entitlements and health care. Find a way to pay for it. Well, you can do that with money going to the Ukraine. And that's always been my stance, is that if the money going to the Ukraine is going to save lives even overseas, and if there's no money going to the Ukraine, you ain't going to do shit for me anyway, then shit, well, just keep sending it to the Ukraine then. It's not like you're not going to help me out, so I'd rather the money go somewhere. Otherwise, it's going into a politician's pocket, such as Oklahoma purchasing apparently $6 million worth of Trump Bibles. I'd rather that money go help out Ukrainians than go to purchase Trump Bibles. Looking in the comments, I do want to give an appreciation to Alan Quinn for that sub. Thank you, Alan. Going back to the box, we'll go to Furback, who's been holding on there. Good afternoon, Furback. Now, he won again. Now, I know you're no fan of Trump. How the hell did he pull it off?
Hey, man, American doing what American do, man. We're just, holding up that white tea supremacy at all costs, brother.
A lot of people of color voted. You really think that Trump won due to white supremacy? All of these people, all of the different groups, like the Hispanics, some blacks, particularly black males like you and I, supported Trump. You don't give him any credit.
Yeah, man. I give him credit for being the best snake oil salesman that we've probably seen in this century.
What?
Like I said, people think he's Jed Clampett, but he's no Jed Clampett. You know what I mean? He's Ricky Schroeder, if anything else.
Oh my God! What's making you compare Trump? And thank you, Miss. I miss Mo better. Alter Ego, I think there was. Yeah, thank you, Alter Ego, for that sub. What's making you suggest that Trump is comparable to a snake oil salesman?
Well, he's a city slicker that got these people thinking that he really got it out the mud, that he can identify with their struggle, yeah. And this tough guy, strong man shit. Like I've been telling you, and I say it in the chat all the time. Hats off to him for getting people to think he's one badass motherfucker. I don't get it.
Twice.
I guarantee you, he's never taken a punch or thrown a punch. Yeah. I guarantee you that. So if you ain't did that, man, come on. You just talking, bro. You ain't shit tough about you.
Yeah, but when you said he's a snake oil salesman, how do you respond to folks who would suggest that, listen, under Trump, their life was genuinely better? More money in the bank. They had more purchasing power. They felt safer. They felt like the border was being more secure. How do you respond to them?
Well, hey, everything lined up good for him. Once again, I was on here a couple of weeks ago after he won and said, how long would it take MAGA to understand that his policies, he's going to be riding on Biden, he's going to be riding on Biden coattails again.
Wait a minute, and that is an interesting point. That is an interesting point that the economy started to repair, and now Trump gets it again. And Ms. Mo Betta, thank you for that extension. Appreciate that. Thank you. So you're saying that, like I said, you're calling the guy a snake oil salesman. Do you see anything that he did that was good for America while he was in office the first time? Did he not do anything right?
I agree. It took me a while listening to you. You kind of brought me there. Yeah, he didn't fuck up the good shit until he had to fuck it up. Them OPEC deals, when he had to be president, when his ego just wouldn't let him just not touch shit. You know what I mean? You know how you go in the store and there's glass and shit, your mom's like, just sit still, don't fuck with nothing. He couldn't resist it. You know what I mean? He had to go over there and knock over the China and shit. So that's what he did. And I expect the same. I mean, once again, snake oil salesman. We was all hair on fire like, hey, his name is in this fucking document 300-something plus times.
Project 2025.
And now they're coming out like, yeah, it just wasn't a good selling point, so we couldn't tell you how we was gonna fuck you, but we was gonna fuck you, but we just couldn't tell you how.
Well,
what I mean? We had to say that.
But Trump and his administration and many of his supporters swear up and down they have no connection to Project 2025. That is some right-wing fantasy that you as a citizen have no need to worry about.
Like I said in the beginning of this conversation, if that was Kamala Harris in that fucking indictment or whatever 200 something times, and she keeps telling us, hey, they said I did it, but I didn't do it. But we got the fucking document saying that, well, why they keep talking about you? Yeah. So like I said, it's America being America, holding up the white tea supremacy. I know if you put Trump in a fucking Bill Cosby suit, he wouldn't even get this fucking far, bro.
So
let's just keep it real.
So you definitely believe a lot of Trump's success is due to him being a white man?
Yeah. Fucking Tim, you never taken a drink. To my knowledge, you never raped a woman. For all intents and purposes, this is just TikTok. You're an upstanding fucking citizen.
Thank you.
If you sneezed at half the shit he did, your black ass would you couldn't even be a postal worker, bro.
I'd like to be able to push back and play devil's advocate, but I cannot. I will agree with you that if I was accused of doing half of the things that Trump did, so just even the part about going to court and being found guilty of being in contempt of the judge's orders 10 times. He was found guilty in a court of law 10 times. He was, found guilty of contempt. That alone would have gotten me locked up. I mean, we're not even talking about the felonies or any of this Jack Smith, Fonnie Willis, Letitia James shit. We're just talking about the judge in the courtroom told you to behave a certain way, and you totally ignored that and violated it 10 times. That alone would have gotten me locked up. So I don't know. I can't disagree with you at all on that.
But the irony of it is, from this FAFO crowd, is that, you should comply. Pick yourself up by the bootstraps. Stop being a victim. This dude has literally been a fucking victim since he came down the fucking escalator.
He's been
it's me. They're out to get me. I can't get a fair trial because the judge is Mexican and left-handed. I mean, it's just fucking ridiculous, man. And they allowed him to be a fucking victim, bro. And that's what it is.
The judge is Mexican and left-handed. All right, let me move it on. But before I do, I need to. I'm open to criticism. So, what am I getting wrong?
Well, I'm a subscriber. So, I can't criticize you too much, man. One thing I will say is that you polish up the turd, which is the lie. You say he embellishes. I know Trump embellishes. No, he fucking lies to you.
No, hold on. I got it. I'm open to criticism, but I will push back. I've said many times on the program. Anytime a Trump supporter says that Trump is exaggerating, that's a lie. Exaggerating and lying are synonyms of each other. If you're saying something is not true, like I had the largest inauguration crowd in history, you're exaggerating, but you're also lying. So I don't know. I don't mince words on that. Yeah, Trump tells lies. I mean, now his supporters are the ones that say what you're talking about.
Okay, well, maybe when us liberals push back on you, that's your pushback on us.
Okay.
Because I agree, when it's MAGA, you definitely take that. But when it's us, you definitely he embellishes. And I'm like, Tim, come on, man. He's fucking lying.
Now you're gonna have me. Now you're gonna have me looking back through the reels. All of my shows are on. All of the shows.
I'm a fan. I'm here every day, so don't take it too bad. Ain't gonna stop shit, bro. But Dick Cal said it the other day. You let Julio and them go on for hours with their bullshit. You got to start giving Dick Cal, Stick the Ruler, some of these other guys a little more airtime. Miss Bo Better, Takesha, they're heavy hitters.
All right,
but other than that, brother, keep it up, bro. Keep it up, bro. You can keep that raggedy ass made in China hat behind you too.
That was legitimate criticism. That was legit. You put me through it. You're always welcome back. Furback, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, moving on with the program. And listen, like I said, at the end of the day, I don't get every damn thing right. I definitely welcome dissenting opinion. So I really want to make for an entertaining, more genuine show. So a lot of that comes from learning what folks feel like you're doing wrong. So I'm open to that. He gives these MAGA fans more time than black folks. Says all praises to you. Saying I'm giving MAGA more time on air than black folks. What say you folks? For you folks tuning in, do you think that's the case? That I'm giving more time to MAGA than melanated? Giving more time to MAGA than the melanated? Let me know what your opinion is on that. Let me go back to the box. That is criticism. I don't know if it's true or not. I see Derek in the comments on YouTube said that's bullshit. That's why I like Handsome Liberal. He's not ever perfect. Mikey. Hey, Mikey, I like it. If you're old enough to remember that commercial, I like it. But thank you for that. And I don't ever want to have folks believing that I come across as a know-it-all or feel like I know shit and you don't, because that's not the way it works here. Maybe I'm able to educate you on some issues, but I get educated on a lot of other shit myself. That's the reason why I'm 100% for open dialogue. Because I believe we can exchange ideals that way. Cal, your name was just brought up. I had somebody right ahead of you, but your name just came up. Cal, wow. with the galaxy. Thank you, Denkow. All right, before we get to Denkow, I don't know what the hell's going on. And thank you for Alter Ego for purchasing that renewal. Julio.
What's happening, buddy?
I'm in the trenches, man. You might be the perfect person to tell me what I'm doing wrong, but before we get into that, why the hell is Trump the 47th president, despite all sorts of negative allegations and issues orbiting around him? How did he still pull it off?
Because they were just that. They were just allegations.
He's not a womanizer in real life?
I would say no.
You don't.
The evidence has showed me. The evidence has showed me no.
The evidence is showing you that Trump is not a womanizer.
Yeah, like the other day you had some dude on, and this is when you say you give the red side more talking, you also don't correct the blue side when they're wrong every time. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. The other day you had a guy on talking about the whole grab him by the pussy.
Yeah. And
Trump never said that he could do that. What he said was to a guy in the locker room, verbatim.
Julio dropped. Julio's paused for a minute. We'll give him a chance.
Grab him by the pussy and ain't gonna do nothing.
Okay, repeat that. You dropped for a second.
I'm here.
Repeat that.
He said that these girls are crazy out here. You can almost walk up and grab them by the pussy.
No, he didn't. No, he said when you're a celebrity, they let you.
Right now.
No, he said they let you grab them by the pussy. He didn't say you could almost.
Watch the video, Tim.
Yeah,
I wish you were at home because you can watch it again.
Yeah, I'm not able to bring it up right now. But give me something else. I don't think you're right on that. But give me something else.
Well, what the hell was he talking about? Just the Project 25 stuff. You don't correct everyone that says that.
What should I correct?
Trump ain't got nothing to do with Project 25.
How do you know? He's not even in office. How do you know that? Is he 100% honest all the time?
Because he said he didn't have no part in it.
Yeah, he said he didn't do anything with Stormy Daniels. That's true too, huh?
You got me on that one.
Right. I don't look. He may, at the end of the day, he may have nothing to do with Project 2025, but we know he does tell lies, so we don't know until he gets in there. And T-Mac, appreciate the sub. Thank you. Until he gets in office, we can't just take his word for it.
And I get what you're saying there. I do, but nothing. If you look at his Project 40 or his Agenda 47, there's nothing in there that's anything like.
I disagree with that too, but here's the issue I have is that when they asked Trump about, Project 2025, he didn't just say I had nothing to do with it. He said, I don't even know what it is. And when he said that, a large portion of the voting public already knew what it was. And his name is all in it. The idea that by that point, nobody from your administration or within your inner circle have come and told you that, sir, there's this document floating around from the Heritage Foundation. Your name is in it, and a whole bunch of liberals are talking. Nobody's come and told him that. I don't buy that. I think when he said at that time that he didn't know anything about that, he was lying. I don't believe him. I think that at that point, there's no way, just like when Nick Fuentes came to his house with Kanye West, and he claimed he didn't know that guy. So Kanye West just brought a stranger to the home of a former president, and nobody told you who this dude was, and you didn't ask. That makes no sense at all, considering that you are a worldwide target. You didn't have no clue what this dude is about. Some rapper just shows up. He can bring a guest, and you don't know who he is and don't ask any questions. Trump is lying about some stuff.
In your opinion, yeah. I don't disagree.
You believe that?
Opinion.
You believe that he didn't know who Nick Fuentes was?
I have no reason not to believe that. He may have known the name and knew he was a celebrity, but to what he is, what he stands for, what he does, no.
Yeah, if you believe that, then I can see where you're giving me the pushback. But you're a former president, Julio. You need to know who's coming to your crib.
I get people all of the time trying to bring new rappers and other producers into my studio to do work with me. That I know who their name is. I don't know them from Adam. I don't know shit about them, but I know their name.
You're not a former president, Julio, that people want to kill. He's a former president. You're bringing a stranger in your home. Nobody on the Secret Service or anybody told you, sir, this guy may not be in the best interest of your campaign. Nobody told him that. You believe that?
I don't trust his Secret Service. I mean, I trust him since he got shot, but I didn't trust him up to that point.
All right. Like I said, if you give him credit for not knowing who Kanye West, the guy that was on,
who's Nick Fuentes?
The same guy who's on TikTok telling women you'll never get your rights back and your body, my choice, making fun of women. That guy, I'm sure you've seen the videos floating all around of him recently where he's really said some disparaging things about women losing their rights and all of that. That guy.
I just go to the follow me page. I don't go to the For You page.
Yeah, but like I said, you're not a former president worried about your safety either. I mean, just like when Kanye West is literally on Alex Jones saying things like, Adolf did some great things. That dude showing up to your house and you don't ask him who's with him. I mean, he's been controversial since Trump and him started talking. Like, I need to know who you bringing by my house. Who is this dude? And we are to believe a former president running for office again just let Kanye bring by a +1 and didn't ask any questions as to who this guy is. You really believe that?
Yeah, I do, because knowing Kanye West, he probably said, hey, Mr. Trump, I'm on my way. I'm going to come by and I want you to meet this guy, Nick Fuentes.
Okay.
And he was probably like, all right, is he good? And he was like, yeah, he's one of my guys. So then maybe there's a lot of things that could have happened in that conversation where Trump was like, Kanye, I trust you. I'll see you in a little bit. 100%.
Okay, and I see in the comments, T-Mac says, Tim, we're not crazy. Julio is just trying his best not to look crazy. He'll come around. Yeah,
I ain't coming around nowhere.
I think you're pushing back Julio for the sake of pushing back. I don't believe somebody at Trump's level is going to let people come in his house and he don't know who they are. If you are correct, what does that say about Trump? That he would just let anybody come in his house like that? That
he trusts the people that they're surrounding themselves with. He trusts Kanye to bring a guest. Oh, fucking well.
Okay.
This guest says some things that are freaking controversial. Yes, I'm not American president. Yes, I mean there's probably some, but not a lot of people want to kill me.
Oh my God! All right, I don't even know what to do with that, but
but when someone I trust says, "Hey, I'm going to bring a buddy of mine over. I want you to meet. He's good people." I'm like, yeah, whatever.
I don't even think Kanye West has any lengthy history of hanging around Nick Fuentes himself. So
what was the purpose of the visit?
I don't even know. I just don't even know why them two teamed up. But the same way when Kanye is on Alex Jones talking about Hitler did great things, I don't know. Kanye is so fucked up in the head. I don't know the purpose of anything he does other than making nice tennis shoes and music. I don't know why he did all of that crazy stuff. Why he teamed up with a known white supremacist. I have no clue.
I wouldn't have a good answer for that. I don't like Kanye's music. I don't like much about Kanye except for his controversial aspect that he is always pushing the boundaries, and I like that about him.
That's fine, but I don't. The idea that a former president running for office again would just let some dude bring a stranger by their house.
But he's not some dude. That's the point I'm trying to make. He's been to the Oval Office. He's been to the White House with Donald Trump. He's got some kind of a rapport with him that obviously made it possible for him to bring Nick Fuentes over to the freaking Mar-a-Lago or wherever they met him at. That's what I'm saying.
Let me clarify this for you. If I'm in Trump's shoes, and even my own brother calls me and says, I'm on the way, I got somebody with me, my first question is, who is that? I don't care how close you are to me. Considering who I am, who you bringing by the crib. I need to know that. The idea that somebody like Trump did not even ask that makes Trump look incompetent.
But we don't know that he didn't ask that. And secondly, we don't have the security Trump has. If I had the security that Trump has, shit, anybody come to my house. I'll bring your shit.
No,
come hot. I don't care.
If you had the security Trump has, the security would have warned you that this guy may not be in the best interest of your campaign, sir. They're going to go online and find out all of these awful quotes, all this white supremacist talk that he's done, and somebody's going to tell you, sir, this guy is radioactive. The idea that Trump didn't, and notice how the Al Sharptons and Jesse Jacksons are not showing up to his house. Farrakhan ain't showing up. It's always these white supremacist dudes that you don't know. I mean, like the other guy who said, if you don't vote for Trump, it's treasonous against the white race. Why are all of these folks, if Biden is the one that's racist, why are they all gravitating towards Trump?
A lot. I would say that a lot of those groups, they're not very moral. We all know that. But if they follow the line of white nationalism, duh. There's your answers right there. They want a Christian in the office. They want a white man in the office, and that's their prerogative. But you're not going to get the whole story unless you read the whole book, and you're not going to read the whole book if you don't know the premise of the book. You've got white nationalists, you got black nationalists, you got white people, you got black people, you got Mexican people, you got Mexican nationalists that would like to turn us into Mexico. I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming there's people out there that are brown pride, black pride, white pride, and if you don't know the whole gamut of everybody that you're a president of, you're uneducated, and Trump's just not uneducated. He knows who's out in the country. He knows who brings the most drama, and maybe the drama for the storybook and the thing that we're watching right now, maybe that's part of the drama that needs to be there right now.
I'm just going to respond with that, but if you say so. But I got to now. What am I getting wrong? Let's get to the criticism part. Surely you got some barbs to throw at me. Let me hear what you got.
I don't ever got no barbs for you, but you do absolutely everything that you say you're going to do on your platform. You give us Republicans a little harder time than you do the Democrats. I just had liberals telling me I'd actually let you guys speak, and I'm more critical in shorten their time than yours. Don't get it twisted. You might give us 10 minutes and then 5 minutes, but in that 10 minutes, you're spending 7 minutes beating up everything we're saying. In their 7 minutes, you're agreeing with everything they're saying. So
oh my God, I can't win.
They got a friend in you. We have a debate with you, and we appreciate that. Us MAGA, we appreciate that. We appreciate a little pushback, because then maybe we'll get some education from the other side, because the other side's absolutely stupid.
Okay, I don't know and I see in the comments, someone's all praises to you says, Julio, referring to you, says, Julio lies a lot. He says he's a Native American. He's a liar, saying you're lying on your heritage. Are you like Kamala Harris? Are you claiming to be African American?
Absolutely not. I'm not African American. I told my mom once, a long time ago, I was in 5th, 6th grade. Could you imagine if my mom was black and Asian? I'd be black, Asian, Mexican, and Native.
Okay.
And white.
But you're saying you're Native American, correct?
I am a quarter Indian, a quarter Mexican, and I'm half white. My mom was full white. My dad was mixed breed.
Okay. Are you like George Zimmerman? Are you like George Zimmerman, where you only see the white side?
No. I play all the sides. It just depends on the conversation. Right. There's days when I walk into a business office, you damn right, I'm all buttoned up and, hi, sir, how are you today? Great to know you.
Now, I'm going to ask a question. You don't have to answer this. I invite pushback, but if this is too much, you don't have to answer this. But I'm going to ask you one simple question. Are you a boy that is very proud? I think I'm too much melanation for you. Know what I'm talking about. Are you a boy that is very proud? You know what I'm talking about.
Listen, I spent the most of my career DJing in a hip hop club in Rapid.
You're not answering the question. You can say yes or no.
I am not. You could ask me a question, but I'm not going to answer you anything about being proud in the boy.
All right, okay. I'm just checking.
I can answer that by saying no. I'm not. I'm a proud man, but I'm not a proud boy.
All right, okay. We'll take it at that. Julio, appreciate you coming on as always. You held your own today. Always, my door's always open to you.
And I don't ever want to hold my own. I want the debate. I want to learn shit. I want to teach shit. I want to give you my perspective on shit.
I can't teach. If you believe Trump didn't know who Nick Fuentes is, I can't even have you in class throughout the semester. Ain't nothing I can teach you. It's like I'm trying to teach you 2 + 2 is 4, and you're telling me it's 6, and you're telling me to enroll you in algebra next semester. I can't do shit for you. If you believe he didn't know that, huh?
I might argue with you that 1 × 1 is 2 and not 1. And 5 × 1 would be 6, not 5. I might argue with you like that and get my what's that? The Empire Star some credit. But no. I mean, listen. We're here to have a conversation.
Yes.
We're here to see perspective.
True.
The problem you're not having is you're not seeing the perspective that I'm giving you, that there is a good possibility that he trusts Kanye enough to say, if he's a friend of yours, bring him on over. That's the perspective you're not willing to see.
Yeah, and I get your point. I'm not going to see that. I have a hard time believing that a president of the United States is going to be that trustworthy of anybody. I mean, now, maybe if it was Steve Bannon or somebody like that had a long-term relationship with Trump, but Kanye and Trump are not like that fucking tight where there's pictures of them all around town hanging out and shit that he can just bring anybody by. I don't see that. I got to vehemently disagree with you on that.
But he's a pillar in that community, and if you're trying to relate to that community, you go to that.
No, not to the point where you're bringing around strangers. Maybe if it was Bill O'Reilly or somebody that's known Trump for 30 years, Geraldo Rivera before he fell out with Trump, somebody like that maybe, but Kanye, no, I don't buy that.
Yeah. And I get your stance on it, and I think you're valid in your stance. Again, mine is just a different perspective.
All right, Julio. You know what I got to do. Thanks for coming through. All right. Moving on with the program. And like I said, I don't buy it. I think that, Kanye West is just a 40-some-year-old rapper. I don't buy that Trump was in that well with him, because there's a lot of folks that have supported Trump and went turncoat on him. I mean, how many folks that are now referred to as treasonous or rhinos or traitors or that were, at one point pro-Trump? His relationship with Kanye West goes back but at that time, all of about 6 months, and he just brings somebody by and you don't know, you don't ask. That's hard to believe, in my opinion. That's really hard to believe. They just trying to get in that circle. I don't disagree with that, Matt, that people are just trying to get in Trump's circle. That is absolutely true. Like the African American woman that spoke at his at the RNC with the tattoo on her forehead. She's a black woman that's from the hip hop community as well. I think she used to even date Kanye. Somebody Amber Rose, I think is her name. You don't just let Amber Rose show up to your crib with a stranger and you've only known her. She's only been a supporter of yours for a few months. Just show up to the house and you don't question who that person is with her. I just don't buy that. Dance Kavia, there's no way I'm pronouncing the second half of your name right, but you says it's the White House. You just can't bring anybody shaking my head. Well, to correct you, thank you for the support, Dance Kivia. I think I'm getting that right, but thank you for the support. It wasn't the White House. He brought Nick Fuentes to Mar-a-Lago, so he didn't bring him to the White House. He brought him to his own personal home, which is just as bad, because when Trump is president, the White House is his personal home. Right now, his home is Mar-a-Lago. It makes no sense. That one's hard to believe, in my opinion. I get a lot of Trump supporters that are defensive of Trump, and I get it, but sometimes, like him saying he didn't have anything to do with Stormy Daniels, sometimes it's pretty obvious, in my opinion, that he's lying, and folks still will keep pushing, well, no, that's not true. He knew who Nick Fuentes was. I just feel confident in that. That's right. It's called the White, in quotes, the White House. Well, you want there to be a black house. Not only do you argue climate change in 2024 is 1 + 1 really 2 is now questionable. America, what's up? Concerned outsider. America's went to the right. America's moving to the right. So it's a little different than what it's normally been. Dencal. Good evening. Welcome to the program. Dencal, appreciate that galaxy, man. Thank you. I'm always gonna acknowledge that when they rarely come through. Before you hang on 1 second, Dencal. Angie says, who would expect a black man to bring a white supremacist? Well, if a black man is on Alex Jones talking about Hitler did great things, or Candace Owens is somebody who I would expect to bring a white supremacist, because of the things they say. Just like there are some white women I could hear based on some of the things they say that might show up to a white man's house at Farrakhan. I mean, it's some of the stuff that comes out of Kanye West's and Candace Owens' mouth is what would make you think that a black man would bring a white supremacist. Denkel, good evening.
Hey, what's happening?
Shit, we in the trenches once again. I'm asking, how the hell did Trump win again, considering here's some of the things that he had orbiting around him. Obviously, 34 felonies, nearly 90 indictments. Bad character to the point where even MAGA is like, I don't really like the guy's character. He's not a great guy, but I like his policy. So his character was awful. Now, Julio tried to say he was not a womanizer. I don't know where he got that from, but obviously a womanizer, obviously thin-skinned, even though he expects the liberals, the people he's criticizing, to be thick-skinned. He's thin-skinned. Here's one I think is colossal. I never thought a president could be victorious with. He admits he's not a Christian. I never would have thought somebody openly admitting they're not Christian could win the nation's highest office. And last but not least, McCain, Bernie Sanders, Biden, one of their biggest detriments is that they're old. Yet when Trump takes office in January, he will be older than all of them. How does somebody win with all of that against them?
Well, I think the main thing is his ability to utilize information to his advantage.
Explain.
He knows how to manipulate people, and he uses things that we've known throughout history that works. He knows that rhetoric, propaganda. He knows the reiteration. If you tell some people over and over and over and over again that they start to believe you, he knows how to do that very well. And that's one thing. I don't think he's a very intelligent man, but I think he's mastered that part of propaganda. And he's learned from the very best when he learned from his former lawyer Roy Cohn and his father and that whole situation. He learned at a very young age how to utilize information to his advantage. That's why he used to tell his people at his company, every year, no matter what happens in our business, we have to keep on telling Forbes that our wealth is growing because we have to be viewed as successful. No matter if we lost $1 billion this year, we got to tell them, we got to manipulate the numbers so we can keep saying that we're growing. And that is what make people believe. And I'm not saying that he's not successful, because success is what people view from the outside. So we say, well, look, he's got a whole bunch of money, so he's successful, but we can ignore the bankruptcies. We can ignore him losing $1 billion. We can ignore him not paying taxes for 10 years. We can ignore him, losing a school, losing a charity because they said we could ignore all of that stuff, and we could just be like, well, he's got to be successful because he still got money. No matter if he cheated to keep the money, he done bankrupt 1,000 small businesses. We don't care. So he's able to utilize that and put his name in big lights to tell you that he is, even though all of those buildings don't belong to him. But we still
you do realize you're making the American voting populace just seem like idiots.
They are. And that is who he went after. He went after people, and he literally told them to their face, don't listen to anything you hear in the media. Just listen to me. And he told people at his rallies, I don't really look, don't die out here in the sun. I need y'all to vote. I just need y'all to make it to election day. He told people he doesn't give a shit about them. He said, if I killed somebody on Fifth Avenue in front of everybody, I wouldn't lose my supporters. He told them to their face. It ain't me saying it. It ain't, look, he said, I love the low-educated voters. I love them.
He did say that. So he's somewhat of the Piper of politicians then.
Yes, and he's got Julio on here. He's being intellectually dishonest. And he does that because you're the only person that will allow him on the show to do that over and over and over. If you nail him down to something where you know that he has to admit he was wrong, he still won't do it.
Are you saying that Julio, in that regard, is representative of MAGA?
A large part, not all of them, because some of them have bought into the thing. And look, rhetoric and things, people say, like, yeah, people want to believe. They want to be a part of something special. I'm not saying nothing is wrong with that, but when they have showed us time and time again that they don't even follow the rules that they say everybody's supposed to.
What do you mean by that? Give me an example. What rules?
It's like, okay, let me give you an example. The mustache man, and I hate comparing it to him because people always push back, but nobody's comparing. The mustache man said, the perfect people are blonde-haired and blue-eyed, even though he did not have blonde hair and blue eyes. And he had people going around the world trying to dominate it when he didn't even fit what he said. When Trump says it's America first, but all of his business comes out of China, is a contradiction in terms. There's no other way to say it.
Yeah, he does have a lot of business coming out of China. But right now he's talking about imposing these huge tariffs on China so that he can bring that work back home to the U.S. Is that not a good thing?
If that were going to happen, but what we understand, and from all economists, Nobel laureates, all of the people that have gone to school and worked through this stuff and looked at his plan, they all say it's not going to fucking work. But we keep on saying, well, Trump said, Trump said he didn't have nothing to do with Project 2025 when he just nominated the motherfucker who wrote it to be in his fucking cabinet.
You're making us all look really bad for voting this guy in.
No, this is stuff that you and I already know. But I know you got a show to run. But these people sitting up here, I mean, they just... Sometimes it just baffles my mind. And the one thing I can say about it was said about me because I did say something about how much time you give them. But I understand that, yes, you can't have a very long conversation with us because it's going to be hard for you to bend yourself in a pretzel to do what they do.
What do you mean by that? How? If I'm speaking with another liberal, what do you mean by explain that?
Just like I just explained to you, the same tactics that mustache man used, you can't push back against me because there is no pushback. There's no pushback when I tell you about Project 2025 and what he's actually doing, and that you already know that that Agenda 47 is just Project 2025 light.
Yeah, there's no.
We know it was consolidated. We know that he's already achieved parts of Project 2025 with his Supreme Court agenda, which already been put in effect and is up and running. Like a lot of the stuff has already been completed in Project 2025.
And I see somebody in the comments said mustache man equals Mike Lindell to my look at. So now with the whole Project 2025 thing. Why do you think there's so many, based on what you're saying, and I don't have a lot of pushback as you're alluding to, but why do you believe there are so many folks on the right, so many MAGA that are adamant that Trump and Project 2025 are in a different universe, that he's not going to do any of this stuff?
Because they have not read them. Because if they read the literature, they will be forced to admit it. And they are not in. He has told them from the beginning, never give up, never surrender. Even when you wrong, just continue to say you right. That's a part of his mantra. So how would they be able to do that, like internally, consciously be able to say that? They can't read the stuff and actually know what it says and then turn around and says, well, it doesn't say that.
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily that they didn't read it. A lot of them believe that the Heritage Foundation and Project 2025 is kind of a wish list of the far right, and that Trump is not that far to the right.
Well, if that was the case, then he would just because he gives us his opinion about every freaking thing. Why can't he just give us an opinion about what he doesn't like about Project 2025? He won't do that.
That's a great point.
He all he says is, I got nothing to do with it. When we already, I can post a damn video of him standing in front of the Heritage Foundation while they're creating Project 2025 and saying that the Heritage Foundation will create the platform to lead him into his next presidency.
Yeah, I think there's enough evidence out there that if you're just judging Trump reasonably, you'd have to come to the conclusion. If it wasn't Trump, I understand there are some folks who are going to be critical of Trump. There's going to be some people who are going to be favorable of Trump. If it was an unknown entity and you had the amount of connections between Trump and Project 2025, but the name Trump was not in it, I do agree that even most MAGA, like, let's say it was a liberal like Kamala Harris or Biden or Obama or somebody, and somebody had wrote this whole liberal manifesto of how they want to put LGBT in all schools and allow women to have ninth-month abortions and all. They had this whole manifesto of far-left tactics. And Kamala Harris or Biden or Obama had as many ties to the authors of that Trump has to the authors of Project 2025. I'm pretty sure the liberals would be saying they're guilty as fuck. Trump, MAGA would be saying that the liberals are part of that. I mean, there are simply too many connections between the two to just buy into Trump saying what, like, and that's what I told Julio when Julio said he ain't got nothing to do with it. I'm like, well, he says all kinds of things. Until we see him in office, you can't just take his word because just like any other politician, Trump has lied about stuff. He's not always honest. I mean, I used the Stormy Daniels reference where he said he didn't have nothing to do with her, and even Julio admits, yeah, you got me there. That's a lie. So
right. But then when you add in who he's literally putting in, who his vice president pick is, who the guy who authored the thing in his cabinet, then can we be done with that conversation about? We all know Donald Trump, and if I put Donald Trump in my mentions on social media too many times and he sees it, he's going to come out and say,
like the Candyman.
You lying. Don't be putting my name. He even told some of the people that were campaigning off of him that you guys, if you're gonna use my name, then you got to give me 5% of the donations that you get. So if a person is so keen on his name like that, how would he let somebody that he don't know put his name in the document 300 times?
Yeah. The fact that Trump isn't pushing back and being critical of the Heritage Foundation for using his name, because he absolutely knows it by now. I mean, he doesn't know. I mean, the fact that he hasn't said anything critical of the Heritage Foundation when they wrote this, when his name is all over it. Yeah, I don't have a pushback. You're right. It speaks volumes. But here's somebody that does have a pushback on both you and I, didn't count. Ed G says, I don't want to hear two intellectually dishonest people who were going to vote for and glazed up Kamala, who they knew nothing about before Biden dropped out. So in other words, because we were going to support Kamala Harris, we don't have the damn right to be critical of Trump at all. How do you respond?
I mean, that sentence at the end part talking about we didn't know her. Is this a popularity contest? I mean, I'm trying to figure out how does us knowing her, like, we're never going to know our politicians personally.
You kind of know what they stand for, though, don't you?
Yeah, we knew what she stood for when she wasn't a senator for me. But I knew she was a senator. I've seen her. Right. I've seen her lawmaking. I've seen her make proposals and submit bills. Like, what part do I need to know? Like, they selected Donald Trump and they know he knew nothing about government.
Yeah. Well, at the time, he made the point that he was going to disrupt and basically flip the table over. And that's what I think got Trump the nomination, is that he was coming and he was going to be more or less anti-government. And that's the same thing with RFK and some of the other folks, that they're gaining their popularity from MAGA based on the fact that they're going to be anti-establishment.
Right. But when we have the conversation now that he's won, that he's trying to flip the whole table over. They're saying, well, no, he's not really going to do all of this. He's not going to do that. He can't do this. He can't. If they want it flipped over, then let's flip it over. They voted for what he said. And now they're trying to say, well, he's only going to concentrate on getting rid of the criminals. That ain't what the people he's hiring is saying.
No, it's not. And the guy talked about deporting the whole family altogether. Yeah, you are correct that it's hard to separate Trump from campaigning rhetoric versus what he's actually going to do as president, because he is starting to backtrack on some of the things like that, for instance, and indicate he's going to be more sympathetic. But you didn't campaign on sympathy. You campaigned on being harsh and that everybody had to go. So,
right. And before I go, he's put himself in a position, and the people that voted for him, that whatever conversation you have with them, they're going to be able to have this permanent pushback. Either you say, well, he's going to do this, and then they say, well, no, he's not going to do that. And I say, well, that's what he said. Well, he. But then when you say, well, I hope he doesn't do this. Well, that's what he said he's going to do. So they automatically, no matter what conversation you have with them, they're going to be able to push back, and they're going to be able to remove themselves in their intellectual, ability.
They're going to come out on the side of Trump no matter what.
No matter what, because he said it or he didn't say it. It's like almost an impossible argument. But I would say, well, we what we have to do now is we have to sit back and we have to watch him do what he said he was going to do. Because if he doesn't, then what does that say about all of them who voted for him?
I hate to put Trump and Jesus. I got to move it on before I do it. I hate to put Trump and Jesus in the same argument, but it's kind of like if Granny is sick and dying of cancer or something, you pray to God that Granny goes into remission and lives longer. If she goes into remission and lives longer, you thank God for keeping Granny around. If she dies, you thank God for all the great times you had with her. No matter what happens, you're going to thank God regardless. And I think that's kind of how it is with Trump. It doesn't matter what he does. MAGA's going to find some good in it.
If he gets rid of 20,000 people, they'll be like, look, he tried, but they stopped him.
Yeah, I do believe that. I do believe no matter what comes out.
Let me go on in here and spend some of this my government check before he take that from me.
All right, then, Cal. Thanks for coming through. All right, and moving on with the program. I've had enough of these debates now over the last we've been doing this about 3 years now. And I like I said, I hate to put him in the same sentence as the deity, but it is like that. No matter what the outcome is, if you support Trump, you're going to find some good in it, which is really good for Trump. That, like for instance, he's promised to the largest deportation in history. If that fails, well, he did try. The liberals stopped him, or the wall, or whatever. I mean, you can get in there and you could make the attempt. And if you fail, your people are going to still look out for you. That's a really good position to be in. Douglas O'Day, appreciate the TikTok shades. Got your boy looking real good there. Thank you. Continue with the program. Tim Jack Smith, I heard about that, Steve. Stevie D. Thank you for that sub, by the way, too, Stevie. Says Jack Smith has indeed just dismissed the January 6th indictments. Another win for Trump. All of his judicial, I think all of the outcomes in terms of judicial stuff will be victories for Trump. I don't even feel confident the 34 felonies that Alvin Bragg accomplished are going to go anywhere. I think eventually there's going to be a win for Trump at the end of the tunnel for that too. Fonnie Willis, that whole thing is never going to culminate. And at the end of the day, Fonnie Willis is probably hoping she don't lose her damn career in the process. But I don't think any of that stuff is going to go anywhere now that Trump is president, and nobody is in favor of holding him accountable, or even, well, let me not say holding him accountable, because some folks are going to say it was a witch hunt and he didn't do anything wrong. I think that the mindset is everything they accused Trump of was made up, and he's never done anything, to the point where I don't even want to know what case you have to present. I'm just going to assume you made it all up and you're lying about everything. I'm not in that camp. While I do admit Trump and Hunter Biden, to a lesser degree, face charges that they would not have been facing if they weren't in the way, so to speak. I would like to know what the prosecutors had against him. Just like with Matt Gaetz, I want to know what the investigation consisted of. A lot of folks say the fact that they're trying to get rid of Trump and prevent him from being president, that alone makes me really want to vote for this guy, because there's got to be some reason why you're trying to prevent him from being commander-in-chief. Well, the same thing applies with these cases. The fact that they're trying to hide and sweep these cases under the rug so much makes someone like me want to know really what they got on them. I kind of really want to know what Jack Smith or Merrick Garland or Fonnie Willis, he's not trying to prove his innocence. Same thing with Matt Gaetz. Not trying to prove that you didn't do it. You're trying to make it go away so that we never know what they were coming at you with. So the fact that you're so eager to do that, it does make me want to know, well, what was in it? What was in it? Because you're not trying to prove that you're innocent. You're trying to make it go away. Looking in the comments, so where are all the reversals for our people? They don't have that privilege, Alan Quinn. They don't have that privilege. I mean, Trump's got privilege from the standpoint of being president that you or I will never get. Now, Trump is not the only person that is yelling witch hunt. You probably got half of the folks behind bars in this country that will tell you they got railroaded by the system by some way or another. And there's no way they will ever have the ability to make their cases go away or pardon themselves or do any of the things that Trump has been privy to. But that's kind of the way the cookie crumbles. Trump has been given all sorts of privileges that you or I will never see. And I'm not even talking about from the fact of being black. I'm saying even if you're a white citizen, you're not going to get those privileges. You can't fire the prosecutor that's charging you with a crime and say it was a witch hunt. That prosecutor is going to be allowed to bring that case against you in the court of law. And if you're innocent and you hire the right attorneys, you may be able to beat the case, but you're not going to be able to fire the prosecutor. He's able to do that. Looking in the comments real quick, white people have the privilege, not us. Now, white people don't have that privilege. What Trump is doing, even the average white citizen can't do that. I mean, you don't hear of white citizens firing the prosecutor that's charging them with a crime. That's something that is Trump's, the fact that he's running for president, a benefit that he has solely. Miss Mo Betta, good evening or welcome to the program. Don't hate the facts, Alan. Miss Mo Betta.
I'm in my mid-hair. Don't.
Hey.
You got me at my vulnerability right now.
Well, as R. Kelly once said, I don't see nothing wrong. So
anyone with no gray hair, listen.
Hey, I don't have any grays. I just got a lot of baldness. You look in the wrong place. Well, let me ask you this though: how did he get reelected with so much stuff orbiting around him?
Cronyism. That's just simple. Having the right people in the right place at the right time is all it takes.
Wow.
You know, he had a big enough bank account before he got to this position. So when he did get here, I got to have the right people in place. I got to make sure my tracks are covered at all costs. So he probably don't have a dime in the bank. He just have the right people. And I'm just saying that for shits and giggles.
He's a very wealthy man.
But I have the right people in place to where, and we already know what this country was built on. It was built by a bunch of European white men that set this thing up to where they will always be on top no matter what. No matter what. So that's a major part of it. Is that all? Maybe not. But the major part of it is because he was a whitey man with a couple of dollars, and I made sure the right people are in the right place.
Now I'm going to push back from this standpoint. My last caller, Dencal, said that let's say Trump, let's say that I'm going to give you a fictional person, and they gave us the same economy as Trump, same speeches, all of that. But imagine that person is in a Bill Cosby suit as Dencal. So it's a black man. but he's done all of the same stuff for America, same economy, protected the border and all of that. Are you telling me that that person would not have the same outcome as Trump simply because he was a person of color?
They would have locked his ass up. They would have stripped him of his position. Let's go. We got to start being truthful about this thing. You know what I'm saying? Right now, it seems like Trump is winning because the devil he has dominion here on earth. For those Christians, the devil has dominion. So when it appears that he's winning, I'm on top, I'm winning. But guess what? Those people that are following him, they're going to suffer. They will suffer, along with those that don't. So they better go back and read this Project 25 when it comes to the children and education, when it comes to your Medicare, when it comes to healthcare and stuff like that. You better go back and read this stuff and look what he's willing to get rid of. And another news flash, he's not going to do a mass deportation because we cannot afford it.
Well, he can still do a mass deportation, just not to the level that people may believe it. What if he just goes after folks with criminal histories and things like that? They're not out picking oranges and things like that.
I'd like to see him catch him. I'd like to see him catch him because they've been in this country way before for years and years and years. It didn't just start. It just appeared now to be bigger because this is his talking point. This is what he does, exactly what the media does, but he makes them out to be criminal, but he does the same thing. The media's point there is not to be right, it's to be first.
Yeah.
I'm going to be exclusive in getting this information out, whether it's right or wrong. And Trump does that. You see his whole campaign, half of it was a lie.
So you agree with Denkel? You agree with Denkel that it was mostly it's all propaganda based.
It was all propaganda, and it worked for him. It worked for him. So he now that he know he's been elected, he's going to backpedal on a lot of that stuff and have his people very upset.
Give me some things you believe that he promised that he's going to backpedal on.
Again, the mass deportation.
I disagree with you. Give me another. I disagree with that, but give me another.
He cannot afford it. He is going. It would bankrupt our country. It'll crash the economy. Number one, because whether we want them to be here or not, they are a major contribution to our economy.
Let me push back from this standpoint. I believe that if Trump starts out with getting rid of the folks that have criminal records, like you said, it may be hard to find some of them, but you don't need to actually do it. You just need the perception to be reality. If Fox News can show you every person that he's putting out that has a criminal record, that will be more than enough that people will think that he's putting out hundreds of people. He can do that. And some of the folks that are seeking asylum, some of the folks that have recently come here, that are not among the hotel workers and the fruit pickers, some of the folks that are laying around on the streets of New York, on the streets of Chicago, parade them on television while they're getting deported. And I believe the perception would be that he is successfully implementing the mass deportation. And you still have all your fruit pickers and people here. It ain't that hard to parade a people. Go ahead.
In a perfect world, Tim, that would absolutely work. It would absolutely work. Now, you talk about trusting Fox News and anything. They've been fined more than anybody in the industry for lying, for putting out things. So this is my thing. They're just gonna go around and see people. You got homeless people that are not from the southern border or and different things like that. So what, you just gonna go scoop people up? Oh, you look the part, so you gonna come with us. I'll let you fight from the inside to prove that you are who you are. That's what's gonna happen if he does move forward with doing the mass deportation.
I totally believe what you're talking about is, are you going to just scoop people up? I do believe there will be some of that. I don't believe that everybody's going to maintain their Fourth Amendment right. I do believe some folks, what it is, the protection against unwarranted searches and seizures. I don't think most Americans are going to fight on behalf of him violating the Fourth,
including Julio and his so-called family.
Yeah.
So I guess you're going to pick the side. No, I'm 50% white. Don't take my family.
Well, by then it's too late, though. At that point,
and that's another reason how he won too. You see how they won't take accountability. Like, listen, we gonna lie, but we gotta stick to this lie. You understand? I'm not gonna hold him accountable. Oh, he didn't say that on camera. Go watch it again. We all watched it, including you. You seen what he said. You can go grab him by the pussy and and they won't do anything about it.
Yeah, he did say that. He did say that Trump didn't say that.
Yeah, they try to switch up the words that he says and everything. Listen, when somebody show you who they are, you have to believe them. Trump set his own precedent when it comes to how people react to them, whether it's good or bad. You set your own precedent. You know what I mean? So a lot of most of these stories that with him are not made up stories. It's just that the statute of limitation has set it, so a lot of stuff couldn't be charged criminally. He had enough money to make half of it go away. Then on the other hand, you're threatening people. Yeah. So, you know, it's like a little Joe Schmo like me. I hold no power anywhere other than getting on social media talking and hoping that the right person hears it. Right. What they would do to me? I'd lose my job, be losing my home. So a lot of that stuff plays a part as to why and we know Elon Musk helped him win.
Oh, no shit. I mean...
Yeah, he helped him win. That's how he won. Elon Musk is another powerful man. Not just... because he has enough money to be that way.
Mm. Well, not only Elon Musk, but RFK too. RFK brought a lot of votes with him as well. So
look at his picks. Almost every pick he got on there has an SA case or as some way affiliated. You got RFK as the health guy. You could barely understand what he's saying. Why is his voice the way he is? Was he not the health man when your voice started going? What happened? Oh, you was that dope addict then.
Well, no, RFK doesn't have a history of being involved in drugs, do he?
Yes, he does. Go look it up.
Oh.
Go look it up. Why do you think his family was denouncing him? It has nothing to do with politics. He was a piece of shit.
All right. Well, unfortunately, now he is the Department of Housing and...
That's the thing. And you see that, like, and for people to keep saying Trump is very racist.
What is Trump? I gotta push back. What is?
You don't have to intend something in order for you to reach it.
What has Trump said or did to make you say he's racist?
He does not affiliate anything. He said he wouldn't even have black people counting his money. Yeah, he did. Go look that up too. When he was running his casinos, when he had running his hotel, when he actually had access, he said he wouldn't even have black people counting his money. He wouldn't rent to them.
I know about that.
You wasn't paying them. Trump is racist, and not just black people. He's racist against anybody, which makes him a bigot. You don't like anybody unless they have a bank account. He didn't like Kanye either. If he could have punched Kanye in his forehead and got away with it, he would have.
I'm going to leave that alone. All right, Miss Babbitt, I got to move it on. But before I do, what am I doing wrong on the program? What am I, to make it a more genuine, entertaining, authentic program, what am I getting wrong?
Well, I want to go back to what Furback was saying, how when you do give MAGA an awful lot of time for that shit, that Julio, and I know you don't block, ban, or censor anybody, but that shit he was talking was straight hogwash. It was bullshit. The stuff that would be coming out his mouth, like, bro, you know that shit is straight up lie. You already know.
I was correcting him.
And you let him rock with that bullshit. I'm saying, with Tim, please just mute this motherfucker at least.
No, but I did clearly tell him I didn't believe the whole Nick Fuentes didn't know who Trump didn't know who Nick Fuentes was. I mean, I'm pushing back on the guy.
You was definitely setting him straight. I get that.
Okay.
No, you was setting him. You try to be fair for the most.
Thank
you do. But for the most part, I personally believe you give Trump too much credit, but that's just my opinion. You say, not everything he does is bad. Well, start pointing out the good things, because all we see is negative about him.
You don't believe Trump did anything good for America at all?
No. Not in my opinion, no. He didn't. Let me hold on. He didn't do anything that really heightened it up. What he did, he made a mess. He got into office with a good position and made a mess of it and then blamed it on somebody else. That's my biggest thing. He holds no accountability for his fuck-ups. Ever.
Well,
ever.
You will never hear the phrase "the buck stops with me" from Trump. I do agree with that part, but I disagree that he didn't do anything good for America. But I got to move it on, Mr.
You might agree, but like I said, point those things out to me, and listen, I don't agree with everything that the Dems do either. Like we'd be foolish to say we as far as politics goes. We'd be foolish to think that.
Right.
You know, but you see the Dems call Democrats out a lot more than MAGA. Republicans call out MAGA.
Well, yeah, Trump is a whole different animal to himself. Yeah, MAGA ain't gonna call Trump out for a damn thing. I think that the Republicans may have called out George W. Bush or Romney or McCain, but Trump is a different animal. So,
right.
All right, I got to move it on, but I appreciate you coming through as always. It is always a pleasure.
Where you been? I said I haven't seen you in a while. I guess maybe I haven't been on TikTok.
I have two profiles. This is the backup profile. The main profile is called the Handsome Liberal spelled correctly. This one has the last L missing. So it has, there's probably 3 times more. I think this profile has 30, 40,000 followers. The other one has well over 100,000. So
yes, you do it. So I was like, I haven't seen I looked on it, but I was like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, I'm here every day. I'm Monday through Friday.
I haven't really been on TikTok, lately. I've just been doing other things,
All right, fair enough. Sound like you've been preparing to vote for Trump?
Absolutely not. Listen, he's gonna get in there and have it so chaotic amongst his own, because he's not one to take order or direction from anybody. You seen that when it came to the pandemic. That's why
he picked a bunch of loyalists.
A million people lost their lives because of him not taking order.
Well, he picked a bunch of loyalists this time, so he shouldn't have as much chaos. Because
that's even worse, because they're all criminal.
Damn.
They're all criminal. They just as bad, if not worse. And you know what happens? He picks those people to be in those positions and then throw them under the bus when they don't listen to him.
And yet they lined up to come back. I got to move it on, Mr. Mobetta. Thank you. All right. And by the way, moving on with the program, that is indeed the one and only Miss Mobetta. Miss Mobetta not doing better, says DJ Julio. She has some choice words for you, Julio. The default for any black cabinet member when they only want the optics is, the Housing and Urban Development Secretary. It was humorous to notice that out of all Trump's cabinet, the one black guy is in that same position as Ben Carson. Like nobody else. I mean, his cabinet, they take these cabinet member photos where they get out and meet on the steps behind the White House, and it's dozens of them are on the steps, and they take this big, huge photo. And there is a photo when Biden did it, and there's a photo from Trump's cabinet and the one from Obama's cabinet. And that's the first thing you notice with Trump's cabinet is like there's all white faces. Like, man, it's very little diversity in his cabinet. Now, I've had some MAGA come on the program and say, well, he's only appointing people that are qualified for the positions. He's not doing DEI, or I guess indicating that Trump could not find any minorities that would qualify for all these jobs. But we know what Trump said about black jobs, so apparently those are not it. Let me go back to the box real quick. Ed G, same can be said about Democratic Party. They can do no evil. Really? All the stuff that they've said about Obama didn't do nothing for black people, and the Democratic criticism of Kamala Harris and Biden. A lot of Democrats were calling Biden sleepy and saying he needed to step down too. So when you say the Democratic Party can do no evil, I can tell you of a host of Democrat criticism aimed at the Democrat Party that I've fielded from Democrats. I've had black people come on the program and say they didn't like Kamala because she was lying about being black. I don't know if I would agree with you on that. But you continue on by saying the Democrats can do no evil. Democrat Party is the father. Obama equals the son. Any dementia or unpopular candidate equals the Holy Spirit. The Holy Democrat Trinity. Ed, you got real deep there. You say the Democrats can do no evil. The Democrat Party equals the father. Obama is the son. Dementia or the unpopular candidate is the Holy Spirit. Democrats are the Holy Dem Trinity. Okay, that's yeah. Mike, Matt Cheney says, yeah, it's stupid. Felicia in the house. William, all right, let me go back to the box. Tap the screen. Can we get 60? Can we get 60? Can we get 60,000 likes? I would appreciate that. Smash that like button on YouTube. YouTube vertical, if we can get up to about 65, I would appreciate that. I don't know if that's possible with this audience, but certainly smash the like button. You know, we don't block, ban, or censor anyone here. We go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. If you favor this type of uncensored, not uncivilized, if you favor this type of uncensored dialogue from all sides of the aisle, I would ask that you follow the program on TikTok, subscription on YouTube, horizontal or vertical. We're here Monday through Friday. Going back to the box. We will continue on with Alan Quinn, another one of the subs. Appreciate that. Alan, good evening. We're talking about Trump.
I've been waiting to get on with you.
All right. What am I doing wrong? I'll let you start it out. I'll give you the floor.
No. It's not wrong. It's not wrong. Now, here's the thing. People are intellectually dishonest.
In what way?
Okay, to sit up here and say that Trump really did anything during his presidency is a lie. He got 52 miles of wall after he promised, oh, hey, Mexico's going to pay for it. He did 52 miles.
So what did he mean when he left office and said promises made, promises kept? He's indicating he kept some promises. Are you saying he didn't?
Now, Tim, here's the thing. And let's be honest. He said, I love the uneducated because the uneducated don't do research. The uneducated won't sit there and they look at him, and because of his wealth, they give him credibility.
So what do you
they identify, if you go back and look at it historically, poor whites have always voted against their own interest. Always. Go look at it. I started off as a history major in college. So let me tell you, they always vote against their maker.
Why? Why are they doing that?
Because they bought into the ideology that, hey, you know what? This is America. Pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. Every now and then, we all need a helping hand.
True.
So they've bought into that. And if you look at it, I saw a 24-year-old kid graduated from college, and this white dude could not stand Biden because they've ruined everything for me. I can't buy a house. You're 24 years old, just graduated from college. You don't even have a middle management job. Yeah. LBJ said, if you you convince.
I know where you're going with that. I know where you're going. That's what I thought you were going to say when I asked you the first time. But let me hear that Lyndon Johnson statement.
LBJ said, if you can convince the lowest white man that he's better than the best colored man, you don't have to rob him. He'll give you his money.
So it's just all about racism now.
Exactly. And then
my caller had a caller pause or something. I give him a chance to come back. Convince the lowest, says Ms. Mobetta is also echoing that quote. I have heard that. I've heard that a lot. But hold on a second before you continue, Alan. I've heard that a lot of social programs that we do not favor today were favorable in this country before African Americans had access to them, like free college and stuff like that. I heard that stuff was us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, and this came up today. Do you know America's always paid reparations, but they will not pay them to us? Yeah. Veterans get reparations are about making you whole after something has caused you harm. That's what reparations are.
But they're gonna say it didn't cause modern day blacks harm. Hold on a second, real quick in the comments. Balboza says, wow, your show has really gone downhill. Why you bring on these racist people? So he's, I suppose, indicating that you, Ms. Mobetta, my last three callers probably suggesting because you guys have mentioned race.
And here's the thing, and this plays into the reparations. White folks never want to hear what the real truth is. Here's the thing, if we don't acknowledge it, I didn't do it. I have no accountability. It's not me. Nobody is blaming you. Yeah. Do you know that Native Americans can go to any school in the United States for free?
No, I did not. Is that true?
Yes, they do. Yes. Do you know that on their land, they said they own massive amounts of land? Massive. And do you know that on that land, they get a house built? They get free health care? They get free education? As long as they stay on the land. And they can have that house, they have to stay there at least 10 years.
I don't know if that's necessarily decent. You went from owning the whole country to where if you stay on this little land, you can go to school for free. I don't know if that's a good consolation prize.
But that's what they put in place. Remember, they were only going to give us 40 acres and a mule.
Yeah, and that never materialized.
Now, America's honored their agreements with the Native Americans, not Native Americans, but the indigenous people. Why won't they honor their commitment to us?
Well, I will submit to you, they broke a whole bunch of commitments to the indigenous people too. That's why you have the term. That's where the term Indian giver came from, is they were not even looking out for them.
I'm not disputing that, but what I'm saying is look at what they get in comparison to what we get.
Yeah.
Now, and here's the problem. What they don't understand is it's systemic. No, black folks, we want the same exact things white folks want. We want quality neighborhoods, quality schools. We want to be safe, all those same things.
Well, here's where I got to push back. In regards to saying black folks want quality neighborhoods and want to be safe and things like that, it ain't like white people are coming to black neighborhoods and making you not safe. Most of the crime that goes on in black neighborhoods is from black people.
But here's the thing. If you sit up here and you are given the same opportunity as, nobody's sitting up here saying, and this goes to your thing about MAGA, you give one black job, the most insignificant cabinet position, HUD in labor, to those people, but you put Linda McMahon in a powerful position, doesn't that make her DEI? And if you give us the opportunity, look what we do. We leave those poor neighborhoods. White folks need to remember, they were on welfare way before we were. And they were on, and more of them are still on it than us, if you look at the numbers.
Yeah, but what about the fact that Trump got a hell of a lot of votes from people of color? Is it really all about racism?
It's the same. Okay, here's the thing. People sit up here and they say that the economy is trash. People vote on their emotions. They don't vote based on facts. When less than 40% of Americans can pass a U.S. citizenship test, they don't understand politics and they don't know what the hell is going on. Inflation, 4% right now. No, excuse me, 2%. GDP, 3%.
Okay, so what's your point?
All of our economic numbers show that the economy is doing well.
Well, true, but a lot of that shit's based on things that the average American, like the stock market, and a lot of stuff that the average American have done. If I don't care how great the stock market is doing, if you don't own stock, that shit is irrelevant.
But what I'm saying is, be intellectually honest in the conversation.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that some people aren't impacted. For me, when Trump was in office, I was doing terrible. Biden gets in office, I'm sitting, bought a house.
What? Obviously, did you get a different job, a huge pay raise, something happened in your life?
No, my company was able to elevate me and put me into a much better position. I do IT project management. So it changed for me. That's not everybody's case.
True.
Democrats need to acknowledge that and explain that, and that's fine. But let's be intellectually honest in the conversation. Trump took over Obama's economy. Stop giving Trump credit for that, Tim, because Obama had 75 months of consecutive growth.
Okay, I'll tell you why I give Trump credit for the economy, and I say this all the time. When Trump took over and was sworn in January of 2017. Yes, Obama had a growing economy. I'm not denying that. But we know damn well if Trump had took over and screwed the economy up, we would be blaming him for failing, destroying the economy.
Exactly.
But because he didn't, he gets no credit at all for it?
No. I have said this. The smartest thing he did was not fuck up what Obama did. But here's the problem. When he fucked up COVID, Biden is now catching all the blame for it. You got to understand where we're at now. It's the result of, and here's the thing, our economy has rebounded faster than any G7 country.
True.
We're doing better than anybody coming out of COVID. Coming out. But that's not good enough. And if you look at it globally, there's been a shift. All the incumbents are getting wiped out.
Yeah, but even if you want to talk about what the economy's like, I mean, the fact is Biden did a shitty job on the border. You would agree that he failed at border security, right?
No. This has been going on for years. Here's the problem.
Really?
Listen to me real quick. Watch this. We don't have an immigration problem. We have an asylum problem. Because no matter how you change it, if you don't change the asylum portion, because anybody can come from anywhere, walk up to the border, and then you know what they're going to say? I need asylum. I'm under threat of physical harm.
But that doesn't take away from the fact that under Biden, a lot more people came because they assumed he was softer on securing the border.
Because nobody knows the process. People do not realize, people are not, everybody lumps in, everybody is illegal. When you come to that border,
wait, hold on. Ellen, even the immigrants knew the process. They knew that the immigrants knew that Biden would be he would be more sympathetic towards them than Trump.
But here's the thing, because our policy on immigration, as it stands, as the law is written, it says any immigrant who comes to a port of entry and claims asylum, the United States will take them in. That's not a Biden policy. That's not even a Trump policy.
So why did more come during Biden's time than Trump?
Because COVID. The economies in the South in South America crashed.
I think it's because they knew Biden would be
I'm not saying it's all. I'm not saying that's not a part of it.
Then Biden did a bad job on the border. Not to mention he didn't vet the people or any of that.
What I'm saying is, one thing is not the only thing that happened.
I agree that it wasn't one thing, but Biden could have held those folks in some kind of detainment until they.
That's not what the law says.
Hold on. The law doesn't say you let the people in without vetting them. If you got to detain them until you figure out who the hell they are, you telling me the law is against that?
What I'm saying is, when they come to the border and they sit up here and say, "I'm seeking asylum," they take the information down, they give them a court date because we do not have
without vetting them.
No. Listen to what I'm saying. They come in, they fill out their paperwork. Once they fill out the paperwork and they submit their paperwork, they're given a court date. That court date, they have to go see a judge. And because the system is so far backed up and you only have so few judges, you end up with a problem. That's why in the border bill, they sat there and said there's money for more judges.
Here's why I disagree with what you're saying, and I would blame Biden. Even if the law is as you're stating, then Biden should be on record fighting to change that law via executive action or something else. If they shoot it down, they shoot it down. Hold on. Yeah, because the thing about it is, people are coming in this country. They're not being vetted. It's hurting your administration. And he looked like a bumbling buffoon on that issue.
I don't disagree with you. I think he should have done something to say, hey, look, we need to find a different way to get these judges, because Congress sets the budget.
Okay.
And so you got to get the money allocated to do what you need to do. And I'm not saying Biden didn't screw up. There's no president who's come through who hasn't screwed up. I can own that. And I'm a moderate Democrat, to be honest. And what I'm saying is there's screw-ups on both sides.
Well, one side is gone now because of their screwing up. I mean,
absolutely. Elections have consequences. Your decisions have consequences. But here's the thing. Put the proper perception out. I guarantee you Trump doesn't realize, one, Trump doesn't know how terrorists work. Two, he doesn't understand how the asylum process works. Three, he doesn't understand. He does not understand. I'm going to use an old reference.
Trump is likely going to get rid of the asylum process. He don't need to know how it works. He's going to get rid of that shit.
Absolutely, he's going to get rid of it. But what I'm saying is, it's not always one thing. Present the American people the absolute truth.
Can you come up with anything at all, in your opinion, that Biden did good on the border, where he tried to implement a law other than waiting 3 years for that shit? Did he do anything?
Anything positive on the border?
Yeah.
Okay, I will say this. Based on the numbers, Remain in Mexico is not effective based on the numbers. Okay? I'm dealing with statistical data. I'm not dealing with how you feel, and I'm not dealing with some white man who wants to sit up here and I gotta blame somebody why I ain't got a job. I'm talking about statistical data. And here's the problem. Our people have started to buy into that bullshit.
Because our people are dealing with immigrants laying on their streets in liberal cities. And I got to move it on, though. But I got a lot of folks I know personally that live in Chicago. They're like, these people need to get out of here. So that's why our people are buying into it. Because thanks to Governor Greg Abbott of Texas and to a lesser degree Ron DeSantis of Florida, They delivered them people up north so our people can now see the problem. I got to go, though. Alan, thank you.
Hey, when I come back, hey, get me back over here. I want to go rounds with you, Julio. Bring all them red folks on. I'm with all the smoke. I love the show, but hey, let's just have intellectually honest conversation. Bring your research. Let's talk the numbers.
That is the goal. You're welcome back anytime, Alan. Thank you.
Hey, I'm up.
All right, I didn't mean to clip you at the end, but I appreciate that. There's the racism I was waiting for since Stevie D indicating my last caller was racist. Let me go back to the box. I tried, Tim, was afraid for you. You're afraid for me? Okay, I don't know what that means, but Mr. Walter was holding on deck. We'll bring him up to the bullpen. Mr. Walter, good evening. Welcome to the program. And thanks some of you folks that are tapping the screen. Don't look like we're going to get up to 60,000. Hell of a lot of lazy thumbs in here on TikTok. But for some of you folks, show the program some love. Tap the screen. Get the likes up. I don't know if TikTok is frozen there. I see some of the likes. We'll give the caller a chance to reset, and we may have to move it on. Will G, I just want to thank MAGA for speeding up the process for shit hitting the fan next year and getting us closer to kingdom come. I would sure like to hear you elaborate on that. What did MAGA do that is speeding up the process for shit hitting the fan? Obviously, you're suggesting that once Trump gets in there, shit's going to hit the fan. I'd like to know what your definition of what is going to hit the fan. That's what I want to know. This is in advance, of course, because I already nothing good is going. I guess I already know nothing good is going to come from Trump unless you ultra wealthy with a spacious bunker under the mansion. So you really think it's going to be devastating under Trump? Nothing good. I don't buy into that. I do believe a lot of Americans are going to be happy with what Trump does on the border, even if he does nothing on the border. People are going to be happy with it because, like I said before, perception is reality. If he can show he's gotten out 100 violent felons or something like that, and Fox News can parade them on television all day long, people are going to think he's getting out thousands of them. Folks look at the death of Lincoln Riley and somehow use that as a symbolization that illegal immigrants are killing tons of Americans. Just parading Lincoln Riley on TV over and over again have people thinking that it's happening probably 100-fold. So if Trump can get out of this country, let's say 1,000 violent felons, and you're talking about several million immigrants have come in here, I'm sure that at least a couple thousand of them have committed a major felony. Put them on TV one by one. I mean, you can space that shit out where it looks like a whole lot of bad hombres are getting kicked out of the country. I actually believe it could work. That's why I said he can satisfy folks' desire to have immigrants put out of this country, even if he's not actually doing it. I mean, getting rid of 3,000 or 4,000 people, and if there's millions of them that came here, that really is not even a drop in the bucket. But if you can space them out enough, like I said, where Fox News is showing you one bad hombre getting kicked out every different segment. You see one on Neil Cavuto, you see one on Outnumbered, you see one on The Five. Laura Ingraham shows you one, Sean Hannity shows you one, Jesse Ward. I know the whole Fox lineup, obviously. But what I'm simply saying is, show one per segment, and it looks like, damn, they kick. I mean, that might only be 10 or 15 of them per day. I mean, if you want to show people 1,000 of them, how long would you be able to do that before you even hit 1,000? And 1,000 is a small number. Just showing them one per segment. People was, damn, Trump is getting rid of all these folks. It would look that way. Because obviously CNN and MSNBC and some of the other networks that want clickbait, that want to cash in on Fox News ratings, would start showing some of them too. And it would look like he's getting rid of hundreds of thousands of people when it might only be a few people. So he could easily satisfy the largest deportation in history, even without doing it, in my opinion. Looking in the comments, though, get him out of here. I'm good with that, says Alter Ego. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just show a few of them getting kicked out. 6 or 7 of them per day, spaced out on the news. If you're seeing 6 or 7 of them getting kicked out per day, and you're seeing that for several months on end, it looks like he's really doing a good job getting violent immigrants out, even though 6 or 7 of them per day for 6 months straight is less than 1,000 people. But it looks like, damn, he's getting rid of a lot of folks. You can space it out and make it really look legitimate. So there is a way to do that. Real quick, I do have to temporarily stop this and come back through. So I'll see you guys in about an hour. I got a family event I got to drop out for a minute. And I will tackle that.